test. What you're seeing may just seem like a normal ROM play of the original NES Mario. I do own a copy for the record. But what you're not seeing is how I backed up my file on YouTube. But how can you back up non-video files on YouTube, you might be asking? Well, that looks something like this. You can do it too. Don't understand what's going on? That's okay. Let's break it down into a few ideas and steps to help you understand. First, let's look at what a computer file is. You might already know this, but all files, software, programs, virtually everything on a computer is made of ones and zeros. This is what we call binary. It's sort of like the DNA of the computer, to oversimplify it. Binary, although made of ones and zeros, actually represent whole numbers, or decimal numbers. If you don't get it, that's okay. There's tons of video on YouTube that explain it better than that. You can check them out. This line of binary itself means nothing, but in the right program or game, it could be the code for the shotgun or a health pack. But what if it was a password? And what if it was the password for, say, decoding DVDs? Time for part 2. Illegal numbers. To quote Wikipedia, a number may represent some type of classified information or trade secret, legal to possess only by certain authorized persons. The AACS encryption key, a 30-digit alphanumeric key that came to prominence in May 2007, is an example of a number claimed to be a secret, and whose publication, or inappropriate possession, is claimed to be illegal in the United States. It allegedly assists in the decryption of any HD DVD or Blu-ray disc released before this date. The issuers of a series of cease and desist letters claim that the key itself is therefore a copyright circumvention device, and that publishing the key violates Title I of the U.S. Digital Millennium Copyright Act. This came to light in what was called the DECSS case, and many people disagreed with the idea that making certain numbers illegal was ridiculous. So in order to circumvent and prove the absurdity of an attempt to make numbers illegal, they created flags with multiple stripes, each with a particular RGB value, that's red, green, and blue for those who don't know, that represented part of the key or the whole thing when arranged. The extra C0 or CO you see at the bottom was the last part of the number or password. The argument is that if short numbers can be made illegal, then anything based on those numbers also becomes illegal, like a simple pattern of colors, etc. Interesting enough, this happened again with the PlayStation 3, with a password or number published by George Hotz, who eventually would be hired by Google and Facebook. Which brings us full circle to what you're seeing on your screen. Each frame is a QR code, or a quick response code, which is a matrix barcode made in 1994 by a Japanese company. Each QR code can store up to 4,296 alphanumeric characters. Using my program, YouTube-QR, each frame is made up by a fragment of the original file that you choose, which has been converted into binary text file and then to hexadecimal, which is a shorter way to read binary. Afterwards, YouTube-QR goes through the document 1,000 characters at a time, and each time it does, it encodes those characters into a QR code. Once it's gone through every character, it makes all the QR codes, which it puts into a folder and appends them together into a .avi movie file with a second between each frame. From there, you can host the file on any web service. And, like the flags, because the video itself does not have any copyrighted data, won't be subject to takedowns. That's not legal advice. Don't share copyrighted material. Now, to retrieve your video, just do the same process in reverse. And of course, I wrote the program to automate all this. Let's go through it, shall we? You can find the program I've written called YouTube-QR on my GitHub, link below. I use a Linux machine, so I don't know if it'll work on Windows. But also, you will need to be able to run Python 3 and have some familiarity with the command line. There are also some Python libraries you might need to install, which I will make a list on my GitHub, because there's a few of them. You should pause now if you want to set all that up. Once you have all that done, the execution is really simple. Make sure you have the file you want to use in the folder with YouTube-QR, and a word of advice, image generation can be a quite intense process, so start with something small. I'm going to use this picture. To turn the file type is unimportant, that is the whole point of this, into a video, to back it up or share it, run Python 3 YouTube YouTube-QR.py space -e for code, and then the file name with the extension, so .zip, .gif, .jpeg, what have you. You should see the screen light up and display this process runs. If you are watching the actual folder, you can see the files being made. When the process is complete, it'll let you know, and you can check the folder. There should be a new .avi file with the name of the original file before. Double-click the file and make sure it runs. Awesome. Well, now you can go ahead and keep that file, or host it, or share it, wherever you like. Don't share copyrighted material. I'm going to go ahead and put mine on YouTube, which you can later download with YouTube DL or the software of your choice. To undo the process and turn the video back into the original file is just as simple. Run Python 3 YouTube-QR space and -decode for decode, and then the file name with the extension, which must be .avi. You should see the process on the screen, and you will be asked if you want to delete duplications. In almost most cases, you should type in for no. I've been working on this project on and off for about 2 years, so there's a lot of leftover things and problems, and just to make sure I left it in there. I'll make a video about how I made the whole program one day, but not now. Also, you'll be prompted if you want to delete the 4th and 5th frame. Only do this if you hosted it on YouTube. I had problems with this initially, and ended up going frame by frame, comparing the YouTube ripped video to the original to see what the problem was. I have no idea why it does this. I couldn't figure it out, but I wrote in a way to fix it. When the process is done, it'll ask you for the name you wish to call your file. Name it whatever you want. It should also auto-detect what kind of file it was, so there is no need to label the extension. And that's it. You can host whatever files you want, any file type, .zips, .gifs, .nesses, whatever you'd like. You can convert it to video. That's the end of my video. The links are down below. With that, thank you, and all the credit due to the necessary movies and YouTubers who I borrowed their footage.